Okay, so now we're down here in downtown Orlando in front of the July Perry Monument. Please tell us, about you're running a petition drive right now. Tell us about the petition drive. What it's all about, what you're trying to achieve.
Well, the petition is all about trying to get the Founders Day that's celebrating the city of Ocoee on the anniversary of the Ocoee Massacre. And a lot of people have heard about the massacre, and the city of Ocoee has a celebration that they have had for the past 20 years or so, on or close to the anniversary of the Ocoee Massacre, which is known as the bloodiest day in American political history.
And so, why do you need to change the date?
Well, changing the date is important because the date of the Founders Day coincides with the date of the Ocoee Massacre, which happened in 1920. And the city of Ocoee at that time, it was actually founded in May of 1925, and they celebrate the actual Founders Day of Ocoee during the week of the Ocoee Massacre, which I find very reprehensible to the African American culture of Ocoee.
So are they not aware of the conflict?
Oh, they are very much aware of the fact that they're doing that, and they actually refuse to change the date, which is why I started a petition to get them to do that. My petition asks three things. One, it asks that they change the date, and second, it asks that they also issue a proclamation, which they did issue a proclamation that says that they cannot have any kind of celebration during the first week of November that does not recognize or give tribute to the Ocoee Massacre and the victims of the Ocoee Massacre. And number three on my petition was to ask for reparations, some kind of give back to the victims of the Ocoee Massacre.
So what is their rationale for not changing?
Well, the funny thing about that is that what I've heard the most is that it's just too hot to have it any other time of the year. I mean, why won't they move it to, like I said, it was founded in May of 1925, so why don't they move it? They have an event called Spring Fling that they have every year in March, so why not turn Spring Fling in the Founders Day before it gets too hot? But the mayor just refuses to change the date. I don't know what his rationale is besides that other months are too hot.
So having Founders Day now, considering when the city was founded, are some of the people who were the founders of Ocoee, would they have been involved in the matter?
Yes. One of the founders that they celebrate during Founders Day is Bluford Sims, and he was involved with changing the land that they took back from African Americans. He was involved in changing the land, turning it over to white hands. They basically whitewashed the land of the people, and he was very instrumental in that part. And then also Sam Salisbury, who was a mayor and was a chief of police at the time. He also was very involved. He was the one that stepped in and bust through the door of July Perry the day that they lynched him.
So you're going to tell me that the people who were actually involved in the Ocoee Massacre and the July Perry lynching, they're the founders of Ocoee and they get honored?
Exactly. That's exactly what's going on. That's exactly what I'm telling you. And that's what's happening. And that's why I started a petition to stop that. When I found out about that, I found it to be absolutely heinous. And I couldn't understand why people were allowing that to happen. But the reason why people were allowing it to happen is because nobody really knew. The history of Ocoee was hidden behind people just didn't know their history,
But what do you say to people who say, well, come on, that was a long time ago. Let's let go. Why keep dwelling on the past?
Well, because you don't understand your past, you don't know your future. I feel like that understanding the past is a very important part of preserving our history. And this is something that should not be ignored by the African Americans or anybody. It's really not a matter of color. It's just what's right. It's just right.
So this issue was discussed in the last city commission meeting, and
it was
just kind of went. So now does it just mean it's over?
No, it's not over. They actually are having Founders Day, as the last time discussed, on the first week of November, which is against the proclamation. One more time, because they said they should not have Founders Day during the first week of the November, and they're actually scheduling Founders Day for November 6th and 7th, which is, again, against the proclamation and against, everything that I think they should do. I want to say this. I love the city of Ocoee. That's the city that I live in. I've lived there for many years. I love the city of Ocoee. I'm not interested in tearing down the image of the city of Ocoee. I'm interested in building it up. And I feel like that until we make, amends and we say something and do something positive with this memory, this history, this tarnish the reputation of Ocoee, we really cannot go any further with, adding diversity and making the city of Ocoee seem a better place. I mean, the city of Ocoee was a sundown town until 1981 or 86, I believe, and that meant that no black people were allowed. And now there's a very large population of African Americans in the city of Ocoee.
So one of those city fathers say, "So see, everything's solved. What are you complaining about?"
Well, having a celebration every year is, again, reprehensible that you're going to have a country jamboree festival on the anniversary of the massacre. They should give some kind of recognition of that and move Founders Day to when it was really founded, and back in May or some other date other than the first week of November.
So at the last city council meeting, one of the things that kind of came up was, okay, so they're going to have, I guess, some kind of commemoration. They'll actually be on Halloween.
Yes, they suggested.
Doesn't Ocoee have like a big haunted house on Halloween?
Yes, they do. So yes.
How do those two things go together?
That does not go together at all in my mind. I don't understand why they want to have a celebration of the Ocoee Massacre on Halloween. That again is, like I said, just reprehensible in my mind.